Okay, hello. We are back again, and we are live across X, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. And right now, we are looking at news of the governor of Maine getting absolutely obliterated by Donald Trump. And let's see if we can pull this up really quick. Let's see what we got here. Load it up to the X feed. Janet Mills, governor of Maine, is refusing to comply with Trump's ban on men in women's sports. She wants to continue allowing men to compete against women, biological men to compete against women, even though the NCAA has now complied with the new law, or I shouldn't even say new law. It's what is it, Title IX? I don't know. Anybody that's, if somebody is from Maine and you're watching this, do you want your daughters competing against biological males? Do you want them missing out on scholarships because a biological male is stronger or faster or more physically developed? I have a daughter. She's in high school, and I would not want a biological male to compete in any sport that she's playing in. Now, when I was a kid, right around, let's say, I don't know, grade school level, we did have sports where boys and girls could compete together. We had baseball. And, even at the high school level, I would say some girls are able to compete at that level, definitely able to compete at the high school level, maybe even some at the college level. But all kidding aside, it is much, much harder for a woman to compete in men's sports. And they definitely can. There are some out there who are capable, but it's not something. If you have women competing in men's sports, there's a very limited amount of women that can compete in men's sports. But if you look at men competing in women's sports, it's the exact opposite. There's a boatload of men who would be able to compete in women's sports. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But let's get into this. Janet Mills. And let's see what she says. This is from Serwin Live. Serwin Live, big shout out here. My goodness. Yes, this is the governor of Maine. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say here. This is
I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
He's looking around.
Are you not going to comply with it?
Oh, he picked her out. He called her out. He's like, "Where's the governor of Maine? Where are you? Where are you? Hey, there you are. Hey, are you not going to comply? Of all the governors that are here right now, you're the only one who said that you are not going to comply with this basic fundamental right of women to be able to compete against other women in women's sports. Are you going to continue allowing men to compete in women's sports?" I don't comply with state and federal laws. Well, not necessarily. She's going to try and fight it in court. Now, think about this for a minute. One holdout, right? She says she's going to fight it in court. What are you fighting in court? That a man is a woman? You're going to lose. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. Two genders, people. Two.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way,
you better do it. You better do it. Because if you don't, you're not getting any federal funding. None, zero. We'll see you in court. Well, let's see. Let's see about that. How long do you think court's going to take? Let's see how long court's going to take and see how much money you have to run on. I don't think you're going to get elected again. Absolutely not. If you're not going to have the federal funding that you need to operate as a state, that's number one. Number two, Donald Trump, I'm sorry, but Donald Trump got elected on a nationwide mandate to get rid of that lunacy, idiocracy. Men competing against women. Absolutely crazy, and she's trying to defend it. Listen, woke had its time. There was a percentage of the population that was extremely confused, right? And the media did a really good job confusing them, but we've corrected that. We've allowed the stupidity to flood out of the system so that people can now think clearly and understand the difference between a man and a woman. If a man puts on a dress, that does not make him a woman. If a man says, I feel like a woman, it does not make him a woman. I feel like a plant. I feel like a moon. I feel like a puppy. No, you're a man. Man up.
Population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports.
Your population does not want men playing in women's sports. Now, I have no issues if a man wants to put on a dress, if a man wants to walk around in whatever you want to wear. That's your world. You can do what you please. That's the freedom of this country. But it cannot infringe on anybody else's rights. You don't get special rights that force us to bow down to you when you're such a small percentage of the population. It's like, Timmy doesn't like baseball. Okay, let's get rid of baseball. Even though everybody else likes it, let's get rid of baseball because Timmy doesn't like it. Now, this small percentage of the population, I say allow them to be the people that they want to be. But don't ever think that you're going to force me to call you something other than what you are. If I misgender you, if you're a man and I know you're a man and I say, sir, don't get all huffy and try to say, oh, well, I'm a ma'am. You misgendered me. I want to speak to your manager. There's people that go around, men that go around dressing up like a woman and they set up their camera and they try and make a big deal about somebody calling them sir, when you can clearly see your Adam's apple there, buddy. You can clearly see, you can tell by your voice that you're a man. But you want to be a victim of something, so you got to record it because you're recording it because you know they're going to misgender you. Why? Because this is the norm. You're asking us to go outside of the norm. We don't have to play in your rules. You have to play in ours. This is our world. We allow for, it's like the United States, right? The United States, when those the Pilgrims came over here, right? And everything started getting set up. We set up a government here, right? And the government that we set up, we got rid of the British. The government we set up was a Christian government. And it being a Christian government, I know a lot of people are sitting there, it wasn't a Christian government. Yeah, actually it was. Even our Constitution, taken right out of the scriptures. Our government was established and it was set up by people who believed in God, and they pulled it out of the book. James Madison pulled it out of the scriptures. Even how long is something on your credit report for? 7 years. Well, I believe that's in Deuteronomy. Why is something on your credit report for 7 years? Because after 7 years, your debts are forgiven. That is biblical. Our system was built on that as a foundation. So these people came over here, they set it up, and they said, yep, we're a Christian nation, but you don't have to be Christian to live here. You don't have to be Christian to function here. You can do whatever you want to do. But we are a Christian nation. Now, are we still a Christian nation? Well, you'd probably beat me in a debate on that because I would say definitely, well, I would say we're not. I would say this country has lost its identity. And it's lost its identity because the Christians in this country, I think they sit on their hands more than anything. I think we've lost our way as far as morality. We've lost our way as far as many of the principles of Christianity, many of the things that our founding fathers started this country on. And you think about it, they fought for what we have today. And what are we doing? We're allowing all of this garbage, all of these people that are like, men are women, women are men. We're allowing them to dictate what our country is going to be. That's why I say that this country has lost its way, because the Christians refuse to stand up for anything. Maybe it's because they think they're not going to be here much longer because they're going to get raptured. Well, I don't see that happening, but, well, I see it happening eventually, but not in the way that the majority of the people in this country think. Anyway, you can watch those videos. I also have those videos up. Most important rapture video you'll ever watch. Go check it out. We got it on our YouTube channel.
So you better
Let's get back to this.
Comply, because
you better
otherwise you're not
comply.
getting any federal funding. Every state.
I'll see you in court, she says.
I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
That should be a real easy one. She's not too happy with that.
After governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation.
Is it me or is it everybody else just looking around like, this is, wow. They're all just like, okay, yep, I'm complying. You don't got to worry about me.
And we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
Enforcing aggressively. Enforcing aggressively. Either you comply or we're going to use every ounce of the law against you. And they can. You know, you might not like it, but they can. Donald Trump can withhold federal funding. You can take it to court all you want. But guess what? The whole time you're in court, he's withholding federal funding. You can try to get a court order to go around that. But, just like Joe Biden, when the Supreme Court told him what to do, and what did he say? He said, I don't need to listen to the courts. Well, you guys set a great precedent for us. And now it looks like Donald Trump is definitely utilizing that, and he's going to continue utilizing it. He has 4 years here, people, 4 years. And I'll tell you right now, we got to make sure he maintains control and even increases control in the House and in the Senate. And I'll tell you what, Doge right now, completely defunding the Democrats, completely defunding their entire operation of funneling taxpayer money and using it in campaigns. Is that what they're doing? Sure looks like what they're doing. How does the number one contributor for the DNC, George Soros, how does he get from USAID $260 million? How does an organization linked to Stacey Abrams for climate have $2 billion with a B billion dollars earmarked for her? What is that money for? Oh, I know what it's for. It's for all the activists that are out in the streets burning down the buildings. Yeah, taxpayer funded burning down the buildings, taxpayer funded activists. No more. No more. Well, what do you guys think of this exchange? He was pretty harsh.
So just to end this administration.
He was pretty harsh on her. He just called her right out, and he just went for the jugular. Took her right down. Like, you're going to comply or you're going to be all done in politics. And he's just telling it how it is. Hey, Maine, are you going to continue to support this woman who is trying to stand up against Trump? I mean, there's a million things that you can stand up against Trump for, a million things that you can stand up against him for. But is this really the hill that you want to die on? You want to die on the hill to allow men to beat up on women? That's the hill you want to die on? Really? I don't think it's a very good idea, and I think Trump is correct. I don't think she's going to have much of a future in politics in Maine going forward. And hopefully the voters correct what is wrong with that state, the governor, and start allowing girls to compete against girls, not boys compete against girls. It's fine if the girls can compete at the boys level, but they should not allow the boys to compete in the girls' sports. It's not fair. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll be back with some more. Thanks for tuning in.